Here's the best part about
You're right
Lennox,
about that. You're right. Yeah,
I'm going to tell you
Goosen's
guys
always been
why
that guy.
Goosen and Lennox Lewis are the greatest announcers of all time. Whatever they're seeing is what's really happening in their head. There's not a producer in their earpiece going, talk more about Omar Figueroa, for God's sakes. Yeah. That's not happening to these guys. They will bicker with each other. Like Lennox will say shit and Goosen will go, no, that's not what Johnny's doing in there. Johnny hits really like, I can't believe the man love that actually happened and you talked about this. Joe Goosen blew John Molina Jr. during that fight. Like he's fighting a great fight in there. I agree. You and I both agree through the fight that John Molina Jr. was in this fight for 10 rounds. Then, shockingly, we got the scorecards, to which we were explained that it was not only a unanimous decision, all three of the judges saw it pretty much as a wipeout for Figueroa Jr. Now, the reason that's shocking is because we had a 15-minute break at the end of the fight for them to put together the scorecards. And that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, it seemed like those scorecards should have been pretty easy at, what was it, 99 to 91 all the way across or something like that?
In fact, Goosen started to talk about it so much that I think a producer finally got on the headset and said, tell him that Jimmy Lennon Jr. is the reason. He's like, oh, Jimmy's got the decision. We're just waiting. I don't know why we're waiting. They actually said that. Yeah, trust me when I say that. That's not accurate. I guarantee that's a producer in the headset trying to vamp. This reeked of a fix, Andrew. Reeked of a fix. There is no way Omar Figueroa completely on one judge's scorecard every single round.
Somebody forgot to tell the camera crew or someone that the commercial break was over. That was what I was thinking, Lee. They went, they had just come back from a commercial, and it goes about another, 5 minutes before they announced the fight. And maybe Jimmy Lennon just did not get the word that the commercial was over. Big slip up to whoever's on the floor, running the floor. So, but it was
and by
weird.
the way, here's the part I find interesting about the PBC. They're literally on their Facebook page, which you and I are looking at, they're showing Figueroa highlights. John Molina highlights, right? Both of their video clips are John Molina going to work. But Omar Figueroa won the fight. Let's do it again on their own personal site, right? Good left hook by Molina. And John Molina Jr. lands a big right hand to close out round 5. By the way, he closed out many of the rounds with big right hands. Like, he blasted the shit out of Omar Figueroa. Like, there was some major wood being thrown in this fight. And your winner by unanimous decision, winning every single scorecard, basically on 2 of the judges' scorecard, Omar Figueroa Jr. Andrew, help me out here.
Well, 29-0 Lee versus, what was the other guy? 20.
Oh, yeah, no. Omar is undefeated and he's
7
the money.
defeats. Yeah, he had 7 defeats. No,
he's the money. He's the money, bro. No doubt.
I don't know for what. Omar Figueroa is a underachiever from where he was years ago. He's 29-0. Lee, he looks so old and slow. Let's remember, he went to war with John Molina. This does not help his resume at all. This fight going the distance. It was ugly. He looked out of his division again. I don't remember. And then
both fighters hadn't fought in a year and a half. They played up all the angles.
I loved how he was constantly defending himself with one hand, and he's getting lit up by Molina, and he would not pick up his other hand, his left hand, to block his chin. It was one of the worst displays of defense I think you could show. Just a real lazy performance. Yes, can you hit him with the bat? Of course, I guess he has a chin that allows him to fight this way. But the way his body looked, the way he was responding to punches, he's 29-0 because he fights once a year now against guys that are relatively nobodies. I'm sure you go back and he has the last fight, I got to say, is the 5 knockdowns against to Guerrero, where we didn't even see. I mean, that was like the fight. Everyone was like, okay, Guerrero must have head issues. How the hell did he get dropped 5 times by this guy? The guy's on top of the world right there, has a knockout victory against a guy that doesn't get dominated like that. And they shelve him for over a year and a half. Like you said, what was it, 17 months? Some shit like that they put him on the shelf for?
Yeah, but that's a typical PBC undefeated fighter.
Really weird. Really weird. Then he comes back against Molina. So these are 2 guys that are, those are gatekeeper fighters, but those are no one that's going to be like, oh, yeah, I think Omar Figueroa and Keith Thurman need to throw down, or he should have the winner. I honestly believe he gets the winner of Garcia Spence, though. I really do. 29-0. He's 29 years old. He has 2 wins now against PBC fighters. I would not be surprised if Spence's next defense is against another blown-up lightweight, undefeated lightweight champion in Omar Figueroa.
Again, for those of you wondering, Omar Figueroa Jr. is your winner by unanimous decision in this compelling fight, which takes us to the main event of the evening. A completely non-compelling, non-exciting, ponderously long WBA Featherweight World Championship between Leo Santa Cruz, his dad's cancer, and Rafael Rivera. This fight was interesting only in the final 10 seconds of each round. I mean, I think this meme is actually hilarious because that's what it looked like at the end of it's like a chick slap fight at the end of each round. Like, they didn't turn it up till the final 10 seconds of each round, which tells me that this fight could have been magical, where 2 dudes just stood in front of each other and went to war. That wasn't necessarily the case. In round 1, you and I both believe that this could have been a really interesting fight, right? But that's only because the final 20 seconds or so of the first round had these dudes going to work and throwing a lot of punches. Ultimately, Leo Santa Cruz will win by unanimous decision. And the fight itself was rather dull. I mean, I'm just being honest about the whole thing.
It was a broken record. It started turning into a broken record.
Right.
Same thing every round.
2 minutes and 30 seconds of each round were borderline unbearable, about 2 guys just sitting on the outside and taking these wild bomb shots at each other, right? Nobody ever seemed to do anything. Santa Cruz was obviously more effective in his punching throughout those. And then, for whatever reason, Rafael Rivera's plan was to wait for the final 30 seconds, a la Sugar Ray Leonard style.
I'll give you a good explanation.
Okay.
One guy trained for probably, 8 to 6 weeks. The other guy trained for 3 weeks. And that's what played out. So you're saying
the game plan was, I'm going to yell 30 seconds, and then you just go in there and go to work.
Well, if you only got 3 weeks to prepare for one of the best fighter in the division, yeah, you gotta stretch your fight plan out a little. I thought Rivera did great in the first 5 to 6 rounds, but then he gasses out, and it's not a surprise. He got told 3 weeks ago he was fighting Santa Cruz, who's been preparing for a fight in a regular timetable. So yes, you got to expect Santa Cruz was going to outlast him in the championship rounds. This all looked good. It didn't look pretty when they slowed it down. And Guzan and Lennox Lewis both said that after the fight. Even though it looked good in the last 10 seconds, those were some ugly punches being thrown by Rivera there. That right hand he's not even throwing that right hand properly. He's slapping.
I don't even know what that was. And this was the final 10 seconds of almost every round. We made it through.
That's almost staged. You could almost say that's a Hollywood fight. Sylvester Stallone can give you a scene like that. Look at that right hand. He's slapping. He's not got a fist at all going towards Santa Cruz. He's slapping him with his palm.
Well, and that ended our evening of PBC boxing. Another good weekend of boxing. What were your takeaways from this weekend's boxing, Andrew?
Well, for the PBC, none of their guys really did anything. ESPN.
Did you guys ever do anything?
No, it's it's sad. whatever. I'm over it. They're the ones that said they want to be an entertainment company, not fighters.
Right. They're the WWE. They've got it right.
Yeah.
It's not about wrestling. It's about sports entertainment.
For ESPN, Rob Brent will move forward. If Bob Arum wants to build him slow, I think there's a few fights for him.
Build slow my ass, Andrew. Fast. Japan, Australia.
You know, another fight I was thinking they might set him up with is that Spike O'Sullivan. That guy has a name. He brings a good punch to see if Brent can take a punch from a guy who's been in the top 10. So they would have Lemieux.
Andrew, why would I risk my best white guy?
It's not yours, first off. But that I'm just giving you fights that Rob Brent can take that can build his career if Bob was looking to build him. But if you want to throw him to the wolves, the fight doesn't go 6 rounds. The guy looked very sloppy last night. Way too many flaws to put him in with some of the best technical fighters on the planet. That's a mistake.
I don't even have the thing up. I'm just going into the voice. No, of course he's not going to do that. Wow, that was a slip moment. No megaphone in my hand, and I go right into the Bob voice. That takes us to news of the past week. Go to boxingscene.com or visit them on Facebook. That's where we pull our stories from. Boxing Scene's been around since 2003, and Keith Heidick and the boys do a tremendous job of updating that website. Let's get started, shall we, Andrew? We're still in the grasps of Teofimo Lopez from a couple of weeks ago, showing off that he has skills against nobodies, basically. But he's decided that he's going to up the ante now that he's an amazing fighter, Andrew. Teofimo Lopez decided to talk to the people at Boxing Scene. Jake Donovan, shout out. Teofimo Lopez has never been one to bite his tongue. The aspects of his game isn't going away anytime soon. In fact, even less of a chance of showing down as he advances from prospect to contender, which, by the way, he's still a prospect. So he did what he should do, I guess. I don't know if he's ready for the jump he's making. Max Kellerman of ESPN and ball licking fame. If you're not familiar with Max's work, he used to do a cable access show and then made it to HBO. And now he's on public access called ESPN The Deuce doing a show again. On that show, he said, I don't see any of the guys as blue chip fighters. That's what Lopez said on his show, Max on Boxing. I'm amazed that Lopez is that crazy. He says, don't get me wrong, these guys have paved the way, but there's so many flaws these guys have. I don't understand this, Andrew. Okay, maybe you can help me out. I don't understand Teofimo Lopez and his record. Where in this very limited record, and by the way, great knockout win over Diego Magdaleno, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody, right?
Yeah.
But where on this record do you see something that obviously I'm missing? Okay, that's why I've got the boxing rack up on the screen. What am I missing that makes Teofimo believe that he's an elite? And for those wondering, I don't really buy into the Vasily Lomachenko being the best pound for pound guy either, because as I review his record, there's nothing on there that makes me seem to want to believe that he is some unstoppable force of nature either.
There's not, but there's a lot of world champions, current and ex-world champions on his record. What you don't see though. Oh, you just got off.
It's okay. I'll put it back up.
What you don't see is Lomachenko don't have a fighter young like Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is an amateur Olympic background, so he was one of the best in the world going in the amateurs. He's 21 years old. We've seen he has the speed, he has the talent, the power. Maybe in his head when he watches Lomachenko go up against these older fighters. I mean, hell, he got dropped by Linares. So he obviously didn't look unstoppable in that night. He comes back to win, don't get me wrong, but he was still dropped, and there was times in that fight where Lomachenko did look like the 31 years of